Hi, this is Dana, and on this channel I speak about spiritual warfare. I have another channel on astrology and a Facebook page on prophetic writing, which you find in the description box below. The usual caveat: there are individuals who are impersonating me, they're trying to become me. I would advise that you avoid any contact with them, be it in 3D or in astral. Simply because they do this in order to do harm on me and on others. Now, after the last video in which God asked me to speak about love and healing of the heart chakra, God has shown to me that now I have to speak about the opposite, basically. The opposite meaning the spiritual fighting and the role played by emotions. Yeah. So I want to specify clearly the previous video about love and heart chakra opening was about healing. Now, in spiritual fighting, emotions are detrimental, to say the least. So you are supposed to not feel emotions in order to be able to be active in astral, because emotions open up your energy field. That's why I said in the previous video that love opens your heart chakra, but that is for healing. And in order to do bondage breaking, you do both healing and spiritual fighting. But this is why you need divine guidance, because there are specific times when you do spiritual fighting and you shouldn't feel emotions. And there are specific times when you must heal, because otherwise you cannot elevate. Yeah. But you must do each at specific time when it's appropriate, and you're in protection. You have divine protection in order to do healing. Yeah. And of course, in order to do healing, you're in isolation, and you don't expose yourself to attacks. This is very important. Now, God has guided me to show, to explain how basically, since you have bondage, you have a lot of darkness attached to you or being sent to you at specific hours. These individuals with the convents and the gang stalking and so on, they have ritualic practices. They have certain hours when they either come together in worshiping and doing ritualic practice together, or other times when they keep in touch, communicating by whatever means they have, and they do the same type of attack at you. Either they are together and do it together, or even if they are in separate locations, they just coordinate timing and they do the same type of attack. This is how gang stalking is being done. Yeah. It's important for you to understand that all of this darkness which is being sent to you constantly will attach itself to you if you are emotional. Yeah, this is very important. So as opposed to healing yourself, you also have to learn to do energy work in order to constrain your emotions, to keep your emotions in control when you have to do spiritual fighting, which is most of the time, unfortunately. And you only have specific times when you can actually heal. And aside from the darkness which they are sending to you, you should also take in consideration lower level entities which they are, I don't know how to say, free. They are populating the 3D. So these are the darkness and the entities which I mentioned in another video, which come on their own. You cannot believe this if you don't know it. I will tell you, these individuals don't only target people and send attacks to you targeted on you, but they also spread darkness everywhere, on the streets, in specific buildings, in stores, on food, on everything. In 3D, in order for this veil to exist of confusion and deception, there is a certain amount of darkness which is being sent without a destination, without a certain target, but just broadly to the city, to the country, to whatever to the village, wherever you are, you know. So there is a certain amount of darkness being sent at large, yeah, in addition to the darkness which is sent targeted to you. So if you become emotional, not only that you will be victim of the darkness being sent to you, but also darkness which is lurking everywhere in order to keep this veil of confusion and deception, and will come to feed on you. Exactly like I described, like sharks in the water when they feel blood. Yeah, this is very important. So most of the spiritual fighting you're doing, you must learn to control your emotions. Now, I gave you one meditation in which I explain how you work with your light body, to withdraw your light body in such a way so those entities will not get in touch with your light body, the emotional body, energy body. You learn to withdraw it. Yeah. Please check the meditation which I posted some months ago. This is very important, and you must learn how to do that. Also, silent meditation is important because this helps you to observe your energy and to cut off the darkness which already got to you. Yeah. So this is also very important for the spiritual fighting. Even with this, there are sometimes, I will give you an example. There are some situations in which your own emotions are very strong. I give you one example. In the beginning of 2018, God taught me how to claim justice, judgment, and punishment. I already made a video on that, so I invite you to go watch it and learn how to do it and do it yourself. But when you do that, what you must know is that God will come and God will show you what He judges people for. So you claim punishment on someone, God will come and will judge and punish that individual, and God will show you why is He punishing that individual for. Now, when this happens, is a time when you will learn about betrayals that were done against you, and usually by people, some of them by random people who actually don't really have a connection with you other than being paid to gang stalk you and to create bondages on you and to sacrifice you. But many times there are individuals who are dear to you, family members, friends, lovers, whatever, yeah? And this is painful. This will trigger emotions in you. And God specifically asked me to show you something and to share with you something which actually is very private and I didn't really want to, but this evening God said that I have to, so here we go. I said already that Jesus is my spiritual guardian in the divine realm, and I work very closely with Jesus, always, at all times. When I go through these kind of moments, because Jesus is the one who does soul healing, yeah. I explained I do soul healing by invocation with Jesus. And this is, Jesus is overseeing and performing the soul healing when this is required. Now, equally, Jesus can help, and this is what I do. Since God asked me to share with you, it means this can happen for you as well. I usually ask Jesus when I'm in this kind of situations of potential emotional outburst or trigger or something like this. I literally, throughout my entire spiritual fighting, I encountered these situations when basically I just couldn't control emotions. Like, it was just too much. The type of betrayal, the lies, the whatever I saw was way too much. And in these circumstances, I usually ask Jesus. I would say, I would actually talk to Jesus. Yeah. So I would say, I ask you please to make my heart of stone, and to hold all the emotions in such a way so I can go through, depending on what was that. I usually say what it is, through this moment of divine justice, judgment, and punishment, or through this moment of potential conflict, whatever is the circumstance that you ask help for, with no emotions, so the divine justice will be performed appropriately. And I ask you to please guide me when is a good time to actually deal with this emotion. And I mean, I'm just inviting you to do it. I would never share this with anyone. I never shared it with anyone. God says that this is important at this point in time. Now, what happens during judgment, God has shown to me. God always told me, you are not allowed to feel emotions. Because when I'm judging and punishing that individual, all the dark entities which were involved in that act of betrayal are being released. Yeah. Now, if you in that moment feel emotion, this is what God said to me. If you in that moment feel emotion, those dark entities will come and attach themselves to you again. So I am making judgment and punishment, but it's critically important that you do not feel emotions when I do this. You do not feel sorry for yourself or for the other individual. It is extremely important because, again, God said, when I do this, all those darkness attachments which they sent to you through that betrayal are being released to leave. Now, if you feel emotions, they will not leave. They will attach themselves to you and feed on you. So for this reason, I was always asking Jesus to help me, particularly when I would see situations which were very hard for me in terms of dealing with the emotions that will steer. Many times of pain, soul pain, because of the unfairness and because of the betrayal and the lies and so on. Jesus will literally come. I am telling you, I mean, I invite you to try this, and you will see that Jesus literally came and always held in my heart, in his hands, you know. And I didn't feel any emotion at that particular time. Now, there comes a time, though, because that's not a healing. I did not ask him for healing. I asked him to come and make my heart of stone so I will not feel any emotion, so I can get through the judgment safely. So the other one can be punished, the darkness released, and I get free of that, yeah? But that is not a healing. So that means you must ask guidance when is a good time for you to actually sit in isolation and deal with that emotion, meaning heal yourself, transmute that pain, that sorrow, that frustration, that feeling of injustice, and betrayal, and so on and so forth. Yeah, you have to heal that. You have to transmute, because that becomes stagnant energy, which blocks your flow of energy in your body. So that is very important that you heal that afterwards. Now, if you work with, I don't know if you work with other deities. I already said in the previous video, Kuan Yin and Virgin Mary are the ones who are overseeing the healing of your heart chakra. They both of them use pink ray in order to heal your heart chakra. Now, for me, as I said, Jesus heals the soul chakra, and he uses the white ray. The ultimate healing, of course, is God, who has a very unique type of energy healing, and that's a very it's a green, exactly the color that is usually known for the heart chakra, but it's more of a dark green, yeah, ray. You can ask them all for help. This is why I'm sharing with you the names, and you can work with them, but keep in mind that in your spiritual fighting will be a time when you actually need to control your emotions, or literally not feel emotions at all. And if you have trouble in controlling the emotions, I am good at controlling my emotions, usually. As I said in previous videos, before I actually started working in diplomacy, my personal choice was to become an actor. So I actually, in high school, we had a group of us together that actually created some sort of high school play, drama thing. And we actually even won on national level contest at the time. Anyhow, I was very young. I was like 16, 17, something like this. But I did not pursue that because my parents did not agree. And they actually asked me to withdraw. Even my ex-husband, who at the time was my boyfriend, didn't agree with that. So I had to give it up. But what I mean to say is that I worked with this, how you control emotions, in the place that I actually did get to play as an actor at the time, in high school plays. Now, I don't know what experience you have with that. If you don't have, you should try to control your emotions to see to what extent you're able to. In any case, from a certain point forward, you're not going to be able to control it because it's just too much, and because there is a lot of darkness, which the darkness itself will try to use triggers to multiply and amplify the pain and the emotion, particularly because they want to feed on you. Yeah, so it's enough to feel a little bit of emotion, and then the rest will do all these entities in trying to amplify the pain as much as possible so they can feed on you. This is why when you know that you encounter a moment when it's important for you to not feel emotions, always ask Jesus. I mean, you can ask whoever you want. I'm just sharing my experience. I always ask Jesus to help me, and he never failed to help me. Always, in the most complicated and most painful situations, Jesus always helped me to get through it. In this way, basically, exactly like I explained it now. If God asked me to share this with you, it means it can help some of you. Now, I think you can try it, even if you don't believe in it. I personally went through my entire spiritual fighting consciously by doing this from the very first moment. Because as I said, even from the very beginning, even going through the moments of claiming justice, judgment, and punishment, even that it was very painful to learn all of that. I think the beginning of the conscious spiritual fighting, when you start learning about the betrayals, is very difficult because it's shocking, because you don't expect. I can share with you also the fact that as you go through it, you will learn to work with your energy and you will learn to detach. And I made videos about detachment and about transmutations. Please go and watch those to understand how you can actually work with that. And you will learn. And now basically I can claim justice, judgment, and punishment without asking Jesus for help anymore. But it's true that for a long time I keep asking judgment and punishment on the same people. So it's no surprise anymore. So there is no emotion since there is no surprise, and since they keep betraying for centuries and decades of my life and stealing from me and so on. Yeah, so but the request from God was to share with you this, namely that the opening of the heart chakra and healing the heart chakra is part of your healing in order to elevate. This is essential. You cannot elevate. You cannot do new embodiments. You cannot do anything. Don't heal your heart chakra. But equally the same, in order to reach a place of safety, place in terms of timing, in order to reach a place in the timing of safety, in order to be able to do that healing, you must do your spiritual fighting. And for this, you gotta have a very strong grip on your emotions. And I will recommend that gradually you start exercising control on your emotions, gradually exercise ability to detach from emotions. And please remember that mystic prayer is also a prayer and a meditation of opening your energy field. So equally, just like the healing of the heart, that is not recommended during a spiritual fighting where you are under heavy attacks. But if you exercise this, how to detach, you use the silent meditation, you use the withdrawal of the light body, and you learn how to detach from emotions and how to reach a higher perspective over things, and you depersonalize the attacks and the fighting and everything, then you will not need to ask for help as often. And that's basically desirable, because that shows that you yourself evolved and you are able to stand on your own feet. Not that it's a problem if you ask for help, but it's important because sometimes when you're under very heavy attack and surprise attack, sometimes it's difficult also to communicate with the divine realm. The divine realm does hear you, but if there is heavy darkness attack, it's a little bit more complicated to feel the healing. Okay, now I think I shared what God wanted everybody to hear. I don't know for whom is this, but I deeply believe that it's really helpful. I have personal experience of going through my own spiritual fighting doing this, so I have my own testimony pertaining everything that I said in this video. So if God wanted me to share, that means that this is gonna work for you too. I wish you the wisdom and the very close contact with God and with Jesus or whoever you work with in your spiritual team from the divine realm, so you can choose the proper technique and the proper timing to do both the healing and the spiritual fighting. Yeah.